I only found out about NoFap in the second year of my university when I was psychologically and physically exhausted. I spent hours on the internet every day, lazily scouring through hundreds of articles related to self-help and life advice, looking for something to jumpstart me and get me through the day and to get me through my life. From an early age until before my first year of college, I was hooked. I felt the most depression, lethargy, and anxiety that I had ever felt in my entire life. I knew that something was wrong with me because I had not always been that way, but I did not know exactly what it was. One day, while scrolling through a blog, there was an article that mentioned the defects of adult content and explained that it was the most likely reason for my timidity, brain fog, lethargy, anxiety, receding hair, and excessive sweating. There was a link to a YouTube video that explained the concept of NoFap. I watched it and realized I had found the fundamental reason for my depreciating life. I ran down memory lane and realized that my physical and intellectual downfall began around the same time I found adult content. Finally, it all made sense. That moment was the beginning of my struggle to stop using adult content. From that very day, I tried every single thing in my physical and mental power to end this plight and break free, but they were all to no avail. Don't get me wrong, I do not underestimate my setbacks and trials because their accumulation pushed me to develop the grit to seek a final solution. I finally got my breakthrough where I obtained grace from a divine source. When I said earlier that I had zero urges for adult content, I do not mean that I don't get erections or morning wood or that I feel no sexual desire. I feel sexual desire almost every day. The only urges I get are the urges to simply have sex. I have learned, as you would learn too, that the desire to have sex is 100% completely different from the desire to watch adult content. The former feels natural and fleeting while the latter is unnatural, strongly compelling, and burns as intense mental torture, anguish when resisted. Here are my benefits. 1. Energy. This started around day 30, really took off at day 70, and hit a beautiful high on day 94. On the morning of day 94, I ran 22 kilometers for 2 hours and 8 minutes without stopping. My longest run ever. The energy from day 94 until now feels like how I feel when I take coffee. I feel a slight buzz in my bones, and the energy feels limitless as productivity is easy, and there is no need to procrastinate. I learned that the most likely reason why you don't get around to doing most things is not simply because you are being lazy, but because you don't feel like you have the energy to start and finish the task. If everyone had excess energy, they'd easily do the things they're supposed to do. I also feel no need to recover or rest from my runs. I can run every day and be fine. My muscles don't get sore anymore, and I only feel tired when I run for over 2 hours. Before SR, I could hardly pass 10 kilometers, and even when I did, I'd need about 2 days of rest to recover. 2. Eye contact. It has become easy to make and maintain eye contact with people whom I once found difficult to do so with. Problems with eye contact dropped significantly at around day 30 plus, but were completely eliminated from days 70 plus. 3. Increase in empathy and compassion. You will develop a higher capacity for love. I feel that this happens because, for one reason or the other, we are now able to see people as opposed to tools that we use to get what we want. This will have a great effect on your social interactions, especially with women, as you feel genuinely interested in their existence and welfare, and not just in the thing between their legs. I noticed this from days 40 plus. 4. Attention and stares from people. This started around days 25 plus and ended completely around 65 plus. I have absolutely no idea why it stopped. In those days, I had a lot of people greet me on the street and children staring at me and waving on the streets and in the public buses, but after 65 plus, 0. This stuff isn't a placebo. 5. Synchronicities. I see 1111 a whole lot. This started around 50 plus this day. I don't really like mentioning this one because I found out it makes SR sound like bullshit, so I never really talk about it. But you guys know. 6. Hair growth. Hair started to grow on my chest for the first time ever, and my hairline moved forward about 2 millimeters. Also, the slight recession at my temples is reversing. I noticed this only when I cut my hair some days ago. 7. Social interactions. Social interactions are somewhat effortless now because of newfound fearlessness. 8. Mental clarity. This one came and left several times during my journey, and that was really frustrating. I now find it easier to generate and hold thoughts because of mental clarity and 0 brain fog. Verbal articulation and memory recall have become exponentially easier, and I have a newfound confidence in the ability of my mind. This, in and of itself, is a very great reinforcement to your self-esteem because you now believe without a shred of doubt that you are competent enough to handle the basic challenges of life that, just months ago, seemed so daunting. This stayed after 90 plus days. 9. Reading ease, concentration, and comprehension. This is my best benefit, and it exists because of mental clarity. Around day 90, I finished my first novel. Before SR, I found it difficult to concentrate on something I was reading. 10 minutes of studying will give me a slight headache, and all I'd want to do is lay down and sleep or use my phone to watch YouTube videos. When I was younger, before I ever discovered adult content, it was fun to study, play chess, and engage in mentally stimulating activities. I have unraveled my old self, and thinking about the years I've lost in the zombie-like state sometimes brings me to tears. This started after 70+ days. 10 I have become more immersed in life. I have no idea how to explain this. It's like all my senses have extended into millions of tiny neuron branches and have warped themselves further and deeper into the fabric of reality. It's like I'm more present, I'm more here. This started after 70+ days. 11 I have started to see things as they are. It feels like scales have fallen from my eyes and I have started to see the truth as it is. I'm less likely to bullshit myself, bullshit other people, or allow other people to bullshit me. I'm after facts and can easily spot flaws, lies, and things that aren't necessary for most situations. The best way to say it is that I have just started to see situations as they are without the influence of mental illusions or biases. Evaluating past situations with this new ability has made me realize how foolish I've always been. I feel like this has made me wiser because my eyes now only see and seek the truth. This started after 4 months. When I choose to sit down and think about a concept, idea, or problem, I always come up with insights and more perspectives. It's almost as if the idea that I hold in my mind slowly rotates while the light of my attention reveals its possible different facets. This started after 4 months and is one of the coolest things ever. Now, I really enjoy sitting down to think about stuff because I know that insight will come. 12 Ability to enjoy little things. As your dopamine receptors snap back into position, little things such as washing the dishes, watching the trees sway in the wind, sky gazing, and listening to music bring so much warm pleasure. During those times, I really take my time to enjoy them, and it almost always occurs to me how I cheated myself of a normal life all these years. This starts around day 30 and hasn't stopped getting better. There are many more things that I noticed, but these are the major ones. These past 5 months have been the most insightful and the best months of my life, and I feel deep regret for not knowing about SR when I started university. I'm almost certain that I'd have finished with a first class and that my life would have been completely different. I can't get those years back, but I'll work with what I have now and give it my best. I'd never have gotten this far if not for divine grace, and because of it, I'm absolutely convinced that I'm never going to whack it to adult content again.